Okay. Hi guys, happy Monday. All right, so tonight what I want to talk about is social media. Some of you guys might roll your eyes, some of you guys might be like, this again. Yes. So no matter how many times I talk about this or Brittany talks about this or anybody of our leaders talk about this, for some reason we still get the same questions from that are in each training over and over and over again from people who should have been on trainings, not just newbies, but people that have access to these trainings from like a year plus ago, right? So what I want to do is kind of put it in a different perspective, social media, and I want to go over step by step what I do for each feature of Instagram and each feature of Facebook. If you have seen in the team pages, I posted what was the wording that I used? Just that way it's said. So if you want to search it and you aren't on this live, or you are on this live and you want to find it later on, I did Instagram 101 tips. If you saw that, I posted it a couple of days ago, last Thursday, I want to say. So we're in November right now. If you are watching this non-live, I posted it last Thursday. So Instagram 101 tips is what I called it. But those tips are things that you can use on Facebook too. So I kind of put it in an Instagram standpoint because that's where I was growing heavy on. And I already had a pretty heavy business on Facebook. So I was transitioning basically to Instagram. So that was what that is, but it can be used on both. So what I want to do is go over that, basically that entire post with you guys and kind of walk through one-on-one what I do for each of those things. I talked about like the different aspects that Instagram offers. So first and foremost, if you don't have your 5 things for branding, get them, figure them out. If you don't know how to, think about the 5 things that would explain you. Me, it's that I'm a new mom. It's that I'm always a fur mom to 2 horse dogs. It's that I'm planning a wedding. It's that I am building my dream home. So it's wedding planning and interior design. And then it's my family. Just like I'm an all around like homebody family type of girl. Every single one of my pictures is either going to be me and my dogs, me and my baby, me and my fiance, me and my fiance and my baby. Like it's always going to be family related. It's never like, that's just me. So those are my 5. Now, if you are really into sports, if you're really into hobbies, like stuff like that, those are a part of your 5. If you are not like me, I literally would never leave the house if I didn't have to. Like I would be home 24/7. I would never put a bra on if I didn't have to. Like I would just never ever do these things. I don't have to do that in my own home. So why would I ever leave, right? Like Uber Eats delivers. I really don't ever have to leave the house, but apparently it's frowned upon and you have to leave every now and then. So I do. But like that's literally a part of my brand. So as I am posting, I try and make sure that I keep those within my posts. So if you don't know your 5, figure it out. That's what I want you to do tonight. I want you on whatever you're writing down your notes on or whatever you're doing in your phone, whatever it is, I want you to write down what are my 5 and then list them. I'm watching you guys. Sorry. I wanted to see if people were actually going to do it. Yes. List them. Why? Because my 5 right now were so different than my 5 a year ago or my 5 when I first started this industry. Your 5 can change all the time, just like your 5s list for your product and for your for the comp plan, right? You know how I have you guys doing 5s list for that? Well, your 5s list for your brand can change. It evolves and it adapts with you and where you are in your business, where you are in your life, where you are in your journey, whatever you want to call it, it goes with you. So obviously a year and a half ago, my 5s had nothing to do with my fiance because I wasn't engaged. Was I engaged a year and a half ago? I was. Okay, like 2 years ago. I wasn't engaged. I didn't have a baby. Numbers are not good. Timeline math, not my thing. So we'll go with 2 years ago. I didn't have a baby and I was not engaged. So obviously I was not planning a wedding. I was not mom life, right? So stuff like that, it changes with you. Those are important things to bring into your brand. So first and foremost, I want you guys to know what your 5s are right this second and understand and be perfectly comfortable and okay with the fact that they're going to change. Do they need to change tomorrow? Do they need to change next month? Will they change in a year? Who knows? Just know that you have 5 right now. And if they start to change and you start to notice that your page is no longer reflecting you, that's when you need to reevaluate those 5s. If that makes sense. If you're looking at your social media and you're like, this does not, like, if you were looking at my Instagram grid, you would see my dogs, you would see my new house, you would see my fiance, you would see my family. Those are the things that you would see, right? Just without even reading a caption, that's what you would see. So if you look at your Instagram grid or your Facebook profile pictures and you don't get that vibe, nobody else is going to. So as you write down those 5 things about you, I want you tonight after this training or tomorrow morning, go and look at your Instagram grid and really look and be like, if I didn't know these, obviously you know these things about yourself, but if you didn't, would somebody be able to know that about you just by looking at your grid? Okay? If not, that's okay. You can start changing it starting now. Starting with your pictures, your very next post. Make it be one of your 5s. So a lot of times I get asked where I find my pictures. I make sure my pictures have to do with my 5s. That's just me. Because I know it's always relatable to me. I know I will always have something to talk about. I know it's near and dear to my heart. So that's where I pull my pictures from. So that way my grid is always my brand. And that's kind of how you build your brand to you and incorporate the business and the products with you. It sets you apart from just being the company, okay? So next I want to talk about our stories. I get a lot of questions about my stories and how I utilize them and what I do. So for me, my stories is kind of my place where I show up every single day, like throughout the day, without being spammy, without having to make 78,000 posts, without having to do XYZ, right? So it keeps it so that way my grid is very clean in a storefront, but my story is the behind the scenes lens, if that makes sense. This is where you're going to build those relationships and where you're going to kind of see those people and they're going to see you in a different light. It's not picture perfect. It's not like Pinterest worthy all the time. You know what I mean? It's you. It's where I share my products every single morning. It's where I do a lot of my IPAs. My stories hold my IPAs strong. I can do an entire day worth of IPAs in my stories and know that I'm going to get a potential or somebody in my inbox. Because I've built my stories to have relationships, to where people are watching them and it literally tells a story of my day. Again, it's not perfect. My day is far from perfect, y'all. Like, my life, far from perfect. Nobody is perfect. So as you're posting pictures, sorry, my thing is going off. As you're posting pictures, as you're using your stories, understand that this is the real you, and this is where it does not have to be picture perfect. This is where you can get those connections and that nitty-gritty detail of your life in there. So me, I try and incorporate Thrive and my life every other slide or every few, if that makes sense. Because not only that, your story is where you're going to build the people that are going to go looking for you. Your story is where you're going to post something and someone's going to click on your name to go to your grid of your Instagram, and then they're going to see your brand. Now, do you get why those 5s are so important, and using your story to build this is going to get people over there, right? If somebody's going to click on your story and they're going to go to your grid, they're going to get to know you just by looking at that. And they're either going to want to be like, wow, this girl's like really cool. Like, I want to read her captions. And then that's when you pull them into the business and stuff, which I'll get into in a little bit. But do you see how it all ties together when you're using it every single day? So stories, this is where I post my products every single morning. My products throughout the day whenever I'm using them. I am like the definition of a product of our products. I use almost everything that we offer. So I share that throughout the day. Like, I share when I mix my blast and my boost together. I share that I take the two peptide collagens a day. Like, I share these things like as I'm doing them, right? And this is also where it comes in handy, having those stock of pictures that you've taken in your phone. Because like today, as I said, I was exhausted. I forgot to take a picture of my hair, skin, and nails vitamins that I took, and I took them twice, but I only posted this morning that I took it. But I've already taken my second one. I don't have it up on my story yet. So as we get off of here, I'm going to go on and go through see, look, Britt's taking hers right now. I'll go and and post in my story from a previous picture that I took. So as you're taking pictures, save them, create an album. I know I've said this like a bunch of times, but it's because it's super, super handy. And if you haven't done it yet, I hope maybe the like 13,000th time of me saying it, it'll like go into your head that it's really, really handy. And I promise you want to do it. So that's a really good tip. But throughout your day, sharing you. I share my dogs. I share my baby. I share when we're going somewhere. I share when we're not going somewhere and I'm just in the house, and I just share a picture of my living room and what I'm watching. Doing that, it builds relationships. It shows that you're human. It shows that you're not trying to be this picture perfect influencer, right? Nobody is an influencer here. If you are, well, hi, I'm not. I don't think, and I've said this before since I like probably blew in the face, that influencers, if they could learn how to do this part of what we do, they would make millions, right? Because they have the following, they have the people that want to order from them. But the thing is, they don't have that relationship with you. That's where we come in, and that's where we set apart. Influencers, it's very, very, and I've been approached by hundreds of companies and they're like, you should do this. And I'm like, I don't want to make you money. I want to build my own, right? So once you learn that switch, it's huge. And I always say that if influencers could learn how to kind of turn that human switch on and not be perfect, that they would knock this industry out of the park. But it's hard because we do it with so much heart. And we do it because we love people, and we don't do it just because a company offered us something, right? Sorry, I'm seeing our chat go off. Oh yeah, see Heidi, that's exactly it. We're real, we're team human. So that's what really sets network marketing apart from influencers. So that's why whenever people talk about that, I always like to bring in my stories. If you all see in my stories versus somebody who is an influencer stories, it's night and day. I show the imperfect sides of me, right? I show that I'm human. I show my team. I show my excitement for my team. I show the real, true me. So as you're using your stories, that's what I want you to channel in what you're doing and what you're posting on there. Another thing that I use my stories for is when we do promos. So right now we have that free shipping and Sculpt. Again, if you're watching this on the replay or you're not watching this live, it's probably not happening because it ends on Wednesday. But if you are watching this right now on November 11th, just so we don't get any mixed information out for any newbies that watch this, on November 11th, 2019, that we have that. So go ahead and share that in your stories. Go ahead and share before and afters. Em and I both shared our 1 week difference. And I started doing Thrive twice a day the last 3 days, and I've lost an extra 3 pounds. I just weighed myself before we went to dinner, and I was down 3 more pounds. Like, that's things that I share in my stories that I don't necessarily share on my feed. Right? Because when people go and they look at your feed, you want it to be a storefront. When people go to look at your stories, it's you. Not saying that your feed isn't you also, but it's a little bit different, right? It's where you can get like brutally honest. You can be you. You can post things without worrying about what you're posting. They're going to go away in 24 hours. Like, it's stuff like that you don't have to really necessarily like get in your head about. Don't overthink it. When I'm making a story, I literally, if I think about it, I put it up there. I'm not overthinking my stories. So as you're using your stories, so wait, you did your 3 steps. No, I did Sculpt twice. I'm sorry. I did my 3 steps in the morning, and then I took my Sculpt with my step 1, and then before lunch on an empty stomach, I took my Sculpt again. So I'm taking Sculpt twice a day, not doing my 3 steps twice a day. Please do not do that. Please, for the love of God, as an RN, I'm asking you not to do that. But Sculpt, yes, twice a day. Hi. Sorry, y'all. I'm a mess tonight. Welcome to it. This is how I've been on my stories all day. Like, I was a mess, straight up mess. Another thing, so you can share your before and afters. You can share what you're doing and share what your team is doing, and share, like, I have PTSD from my past company of before and afters and spamming tummies on my walls. That I was like, I cannot post before and afters. Like, I literally cringe. I'm just like, these are awesome and the world needs to see them. But I have such PTSD from being told that I need to do it and ask for product testers off of it that I literally cringe. And then I'm like, I have like a mini anxiety attack and I have to put my phone down, and it's just not a good time for anybody. Okay. So we just don't do that over here in Linds's world. Like, it's just not a good time, but I can do it in my stories. because I know it's going to go away in 24 hours. And if someone doesn't want to see it, they just swipe past it. And that's fine. But I don't do that in my feed. So it allows people like me, if you do post those in your feed and that's part of your brand, then amazing and great. And if your transformation in love, like if you're on a weight loss journey and your transformation and your before and afters is a part of your brand and that's on your grid, 100%, that is amazing. I am talking about the ones like how we're running this Sculpt special right now, and Sculpt is a new product, and I'm sharing mine, I'm sharing M's, I'm sharing Brittany's, I'm sharing everybody else's. I wouldn't put that on my feed personally because weight loss is not a part of my brand at the moment. So for me, it wouldn't fit in. If it is a part of your brand, use it. I am just saying with my brand, you get why it's so important to have your fives. And that's why I started it with this. If weight loss is a part of your fives, then before and afters in your journey should be on your grid. That's a huge part of your brand. It should be there because why? You're going to attract, bless you, sorry, you're going to attract other people. You're going to attract people that are on the same journey as you, and that's important. My journey is those who are similar with my fives. I have a lot of new moms on my feed. I have a lot of moms just in general now that are following me, and they're like where I'm buying Ryland's clothes and this, that, or the other, but they can see that because of my grid. So I use my story to kind of share the parts that aren't about a part of my fives, but are super important to what we do. Of course, I want to share what our products do and I want to share what's possible, but if it's not part of my brand at the moment, I'm going to put it in my story. Does that make sense about how I kind of differentiate the two? Was that the right word? I think so. Y'all know words are hard for me. So that's how I differentiate. I just said it. Wow. Okay. That's how I do the two. From there, every single day I have an opportunity story on my story. If you are not willing to share the opportunity, you cannot go to your enroller. You cannot come to Britt and I, and you cannot say, I'm not enrolling. You cannot say that you're doing everything. Why isn't this working? Or you cannot say, I haven't enrolled a promoter. What am I doing wrong? You cannot say anything around in that box. Why? Because the first thing I know I'm going to ask you is, what do your posts look like? What do your IPAs look like? What does your stories look like? What are you posting every single day? And if you can't come back to me and honestly say that you're posting every single day consistently, sharing the details, using your stories to share the opportunity, using your stories to share the products, then you really are not doing everything. And I'm sorry if I hurt somebody's feelings, but you're not doing it. You might be looking at yourself and telling yourself that you are, but I'm here to tell you that you're not. And you don't have to believe me, and that's fine. But I can tell you that it took me a little bit to realize I wasn't, and I had to get over my own bullshit. And M had to literally tell me and be like, okay, I know that you're enrolling and I know that your numbers are good, but like, you're really not using your stories. And I was like, yeah, I am. Like, what are you talking? You don't know what you're talking about. And I got upset, and I was like, what? And she was like, all right, like, that's fine. And then my numbers went down, right? And then when this bonus that I just earned came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do more. What more can I do? And she looked at me, she was like, your stories. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I started doing my stories religiously every single day, consistently bringing them in. And my like $220,000 bonus. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, your stories could literally make or break you. Your posts could literally make or break you if you aren't being consistent with them. If you aren't willing, my eyes are so sticky from my contacts. I'm sorry, y'all. If you aren't willing to show up every single day, how do you expect somebody to know what you're doing? How do you expect someone to trust you to join you? So that's really big for me in posting in general, is if you are saying that you aren't getting the results that you want, or you aren't doing XYZ, or you aren't receiving XYZ, or you aren't happy tomorrow as our checks hit, right? Because I know that there's going to be at least somebody who is going to message me and say that their check either went down or that their check wasn't exactly what they wanted it to be, because every week there's at least one person. And that one person is normally the one person who doesn't post every single day. Is normally the one person who isn't showing up in their stories every single day. Is normally the one person who, when I give them advice, they come back to me with excuses. Are you that one person? I will never call anybody out by names, but are you that one person? Is that you? Are you playing into your own bullshit? Are you playing into your own fears? Are you playing into your own insecurities that you're allowing that to hold you back from sharing on social media? So that's how I know when people come to me and I can look at their story and I can look at their feed and I can be like, Have you done all of these things? And then not just done them once, but have you done them for months? Have you done them for weeks? Have you done them for days? If doing something for 3 months scares you, well, one, good. You need to be a little scared in this industry because otherwise you're not going to push yourself. But two, start out daily. Commit to yourself to show up daily. I commit to myself every single day. I figure out why I'm doing this and I commit to that day and I show up and I do the damn thing. If you can't commit to yourself for that day, you cannot make excuses and you cannot complain. Deal? Deal. Okay, moving on. If I can see. Sorry, I never wear my contacts, and then today I wore my contacts because the lashes are all good, and now I'm like, why did I wear my contacts? Okay, content. Your grid. When you are doing your grid, I highly, highly suggest, and you don't have to have it, but I highly suggest a preset. Is it going to make and break your business? No, honestly, it's not going to at all. Is it like a cosmetic pretty thing? Yeah, it is. But does it look nice and does it make it look more appealing to where people want to look at your page? 100%. But again, it isn't going to make or break your business. But if you're looking for that one more thing to kind of set you apart on social media and kind of step up your game, a preset. And it's super simple. The Lightroom app is free. At least mine was. I have the free one. I know I'm pretty sure it's free. I know a couple of people said they were going to buy it. And I was like, why? I don't buy things if I don't have to. I use the free apps on most of our things just because I just make it work. Like, that's just me. I like free. I don't know. And so the Lightroom app is free. You can either play around on there and create your own preset, which if you want to learn, you can go on YouTube and figure that out. Or you can go on Etsy, or you can go on to influencers on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever. And a lot of them sell their presets. I know a preset that I used to use a while ago when I first started with presets was by Moxie, Moxie. That's her Instagram name. And I used the preset Santorini. That was the preset that I used maybe like 2 years ago, but it's really, really pretty and it's still up there. And she makes really good, really good presets that work with everybody's pictures. Once you get a preset, play around with it. Change the lighting, change the tones, change the blacks, change the whites, change the shadows, change the noise reduction. These are things that make a huge difference in a preset with your skin tone because everybody's skin tone is different and it picks off the coloring. So when you're using a preset, go in there and play with those things. Again, is it going to make or break your business? No, it's not, honestly, and I won't lie to you and tell you that you absolutely need one, but is it going to be that one more thing that kind of is eye-appealing and sets you apart from everything else? Yes. I cannot tell you how many messages start out with that they love my preset or that they love the look of my feed. That's just one more door that's open for you, right? That's just one more thing that people can come into your inbox for. So if it's something that simple as adding something to make your grid look the same or to make you look like a look that's like a color, whatever, you know what I mean? Like a tone is a better word, then awesome. It gets one more person in your inbox. What was the question? Do you change the lighting on each picture or just you get your general preset? I change it for each picture to make it look similar. So the preset will give you your tone. I tell every single person that you're going to need to alter it on your pictures. There are some pictures that I will use and I'll click my preset. I created my preset, but that I click my preset and it just automatically works. And I'm like, this is a great day. But then there are some days where I'm like, oh, wow, I look like I was Ross Geller on Friends and I forgot to turn during my spray tan. Like, this is not a good time because mine is a little bit of an orange tone right now. So you can play with them. Again, if you are new to Lightroom and you're new to playing with them, you want to change your shadows. You want to change the blacks. You want to change the whites. That's all underneath the light option. And then you can go to details and you want to change your noise reduction. That will help with the grainy, the grainy look. That'll help with like your oranges. That'll help with that. And then if it's dark, you can go back to light and you can change your exposure a little bit. But anytime you change your exposure, you also want to change your shadows, just as like a pro tip for presets, just so you know if you are going to go get one or you have one and you want to play around with it and you don't know why it isn't looking right on you, try those different things. So again, underneath the light, I'm going to say it because I see a couple people writing this down. Underneath the light on on Lightroom, there's a little bar. You're going to click light. You're going to want to change the shadows, the blacks, and then the whites. And then if your picture is looking dark, go ahead and change the exposure. But anytime you move the exposure, you need to then change your shadows again. And then you're going to click on details, and you're going to go to noise reduction, and you're going to change that. That will literally like change your entire picture, and it'll be perfect. Lighter shadows, and then you can save. Yeah, so you can, that's what I was just talking about with the different changes. You can also then, once you change your preset, you can then change it as like an edited preset. So like I'll have my preset, and then I have like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, if that makes sense. Just because you can then resave them. Yeah, Kayla, you can do it all in there. You don't need multiple apps. You can do it all in Lightroom, baby girl. And if you need help, let me know and I'll do a screen grab for you. Okay, so next, which we already talked about, is having your content, your pictures be a part of your 5. The biggest thing I can say is that when you go to somebody's pictures and it's like they have all these random pictures and you're confused about who they are, or confused about what they like, it's confusing, right? You're like, what is this? Who is this? What are they doing? What do they like? This day they like off-roading, this day they're at the beach, right? Which is cool if that's a part of, if adventure is a part of your 5 things. But if it's not, and then and then all of a sudden they're a family person, right? Which is fine. Like I was a beach girl, I was off-roading, I was all that because my life was super single, super adventurous, super non-mom life. But that's now not a part of my 5, so my pictures have switched. Do I still go to the beach all the time? Of course, I live in Florida. Am I still in my bathing suit? Of course, but I now have a mom body, so I'm not always posting it everywhere. Like, of course, my pictures are a part of my 5. So really, really, really think about your 5s. And really, when you're picking pictures or you're posting pictures, don't overthink it. But if you look at your page and they aren't, you can't think of like somebody being like, wow, this is who she's about, or this is her brand, then you might want to just pick a couple different pictures. No messy grid. This is your storefront, which we know. I already said that. Sorry, I'm reading off my notes because, again, tired. Sorry, y'all. We went over the pictures. Okay, let's talk about bios. So I get a lot of questions about why in my bio I don't have that I'm in network marketing. Everyone's always like, why don't you have that you're retired? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? Well, I used to have that I was retired at 23, and I'm pretty sure it's still in my Facebook bio. It might be. But on my Instagram bio, it was really intimidating. It wasn't relatable. It wasn't part of my 5, right? It's amazing, and I love that I've been retired since I was 23, but who relates to that? Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? There's not very many people who are 23 years old and you'd be like, oh, I've been retired since then. I make all my money off my phone, which is fine and which is dandy and which is what I love to do, and I will never stop doing it, and I want everybody to do it. But I'm not very relatable. And I can call myself out on that all the time. So when I'm sharing my part of me, I want to make sure that I'm relatable, because first and foremost, like, I'm still human. I'm still me. I'm still like the small town girl that likes everything. Like, we'll use a free app instead of spending $1.99 to do the upgraded one. Like, I'm still that girl, right? I'm still like, doesn't brush my hair, in leggings, no bra. That's why like the box is like up here because mom boobs. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still me, and it's fine. But if somebody sees on my bio, I see the chat going in, but my brain, so I'll get to that in a second. My bio, if it screams network marketing and it screams that, why are they going to follow me? They're just going to think that the stigma and that I'm going to cold message them. Or they think that that's all it's going to be is spammy network marketing posts, right? So my bio is me. It's literally, I'll read you my bio right now for anybody who doesn't follow me on Instagram. If you want to look at my Instagram, it's Lindsay Reed with a double Y for Lindsay. But my bio says boy mom, fiance obsessed, both very accurate. Horse dog living, stay at home mama, again, very, very accurate. And then Florida. Nothing in there screams I'm going to be in your inbox cold messaging you, wanting you to join my team. Why? Because I'm not going to be in their inbox cold messaging them, begging them to join our team. right? And that's part of the thing is people will message me and they're like, what do you do? How do you do it? Like, I don't get it. And I'm like, well, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lynn's. Like, let's chat. We're about to be best friends because you're going to love what I do. Like, I don't obviously say that to them, but I know it's true because anybody who joins my team, like, they become one of my best friends. Like, I am here and I chat with them whenever they need me. And my inbox is always open. My phone is always available. Like, I don't take it lightly when people join my team. They become a part of my family. So why am I going to put that I'm going to spam and then it's going to be this, that, or the other on my bio and have my link for them to click to find out what I do without them coming and talking to me? Our team is so different than anybody out there. We want you guys to be you. We want you to build because of you and your brand, which is why we want you to pick your fives. Authentically building from you is huge. And if people have to come to your inbox to chat with you and get to know you and find out about that, how cool is that? They can't just click a link and find out what you do. They will actually have to talk to you and figure out that you're a person, you have a heart, and that they're not just a number. Our team is such a different standard for network marketing, and it's something that I'm so proud of and something that I love, that I will never give away that I'm in network marketing. Not because I'm not proud of it, because I would scream it from the damn rooftops. I'm so proud to be a part of this company in network marketing, but I'm even more proud of the fact that I can build an amazing multi-million-dollar business without having to do that. Does that make sense? I am so damn proud to be in this industry, but I'm also so damn proud that I don't have to scream it from the rooftops in order to get people to join my team, that I don't have to convince anybody. So I use my bio because I genuinely want to build relationships and connections. And then the link that I have in there is for my Facebook because honestly, 9 times out of 10, I have people message me on Facebook from Instagram. Just because our team pages are on Facebook and I want to be friends with everybody on my team. So to me, I have them go and I have them click the link from my Facebook to send me a Aubriana, I see that. Sorry, give me a second. I want everybody to click my Facebook and I want everybody to add me as a friend because they're going to be a part of our team page. And it's just so much easier to have everybody on one spot, right? And then also if they don't message you once they add you and they're like, they ghost you once like you guys talk on Facebook Messenger, guess what? They're still going to see my posts now on Instagram and on Facebook, 2 platforms. So if they were real interested just watching me on one platform, they're sure as heck going to be very interested when they see this mean old mug popping up on their Facebook now too. You're double networking with yourself. You're making it so when they're looking for a sign and they're like, if I see this girl post one more time, well, guess what? They're going to see me post 7 more times because they're going to see both platforms. And I do this on every single platform. I use them every single day. So that's huge. Okay, moving on. One more thing that I wanted to add with my story and my feed, Facebook or Instagram, I don't use stock pictures from the company. The only time I would use a stock picture in my story is when it's like a sale like this, like with the free again, only right now, November 11th, 2019. If you are not watching this live, it is probably not still going on because I know I'm going to get a message like Friday about it, but it's fine. So right now I would take that picture and put it to my story, right? That is fine. Is that picture though going on my grid on Instagram or going on my picture on Facebook? No, I'm creating my own. I'm making it my own. Why? Because stock pictures are flagged by the algorithm. Facebook and Instagram, they're going to view those. They're going to be like, wow, 37,000 other people just posted this. It can't be that important. It's not really building a community or a conversation around. It's a generic picture. Facebook and Instagram want you to build unique communities and unique relationships. And they also don't want us selling because let's be real, it's a free platform and they don't want us making money off of not spending money, right? They want to make money off of us and they're not. I can tell you I've never spent a single dime on marketing for Facebook or Instagram and have built this entire business without paying for marketing or anything like that, right? So I'm sure it pisses Facebook and Instagram off, but it's fine. Don't use stock pictures and they won't really know. That's how I view it. But also it keeps you from looking spammy and it keeps you from looking like everybody else. People don't join companies, they join people. So when you can tell somebody when they're in there, then I cannot tell you, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied, but I cannot tell you how many times people are in my inbox and they're like, you don't spam pictures or you do it different. Like I follow other people that do Lavelle and their pages look so different than yours. I'm like, yeah, because they're not me. Well, why is it different? Well, because I market myself. I market and I share why I love the products and why I love the company. I don't just blast what the company has, right? I share why. And that's why we use our 5s, because that's really built off of you. So when you add in those stock pictures to your grid, one, it throws off your pretty little preset that we all just went over. And two, why? You could post about it in a caption and talk about why you love the products that are part of the sale or why you love the company if the sale is about for promoters, and get people interested that much more saying you have a promo up for grabs than you will if they just see a stock picture. They're going to fly right by it, right? You have more of a chance of people reading it also. So that's a huge one for me. Growing your following and interacting. Okay, so M has a really, really good training video on this for, Brittany said whenever you post the picture to your story of like, say it's the promo going on right now, you can screenshot it, but make it look cool. Like add a highlight filter over it, add some like arrows, something, right? Make it personal. Another thing is interacting and growing your network. For me, I loved M's video on growing your Instagram network and interacting. That was huge. So if you haven't watched that, I think it's just growing your network on the team page. Check that out. Watch that. I'm going to do just kind of a crash course on it. But hers is really more in depth. So for me, growing my network is all about interactions. And also during my IPA work with me Zoom, sorry, I'm a mess. This morning, I went over how I grow my network, how I interact. So if you also have not watched my work with me IPA Zoom from this morning, watch that. If you are looking to do a round of IPAs and you just need somebody to kind of hold you accountable during it, watch it on the replay whenever you need. That is not going anywhere. And I am pretty sure I'm going to try and do a couple more, maybe not every week, but when I can fit them into my schedule and have them up there for you guys if I'm doing any new IPAs. But honestly, those IPAs are what I do every day. So watch that. But just to do a little crash course on interacting. The more you interact with new people, the more they're going to see you. When you follow them, if you're not interacting with their stories and their posts, the chances are they're not going to follow you back. If they do follow you back, awesome. It's because they love your grid. They love your 5s. They do this, that, or the other, right? But you're going to have more of a chance of having people in your inbox when you're building those relationships and you're actually interacting with them. So please, 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 please interact with stories, interact with posts. But don't just send an emoji, right? Don't just send like the clapping hands or the heart eyes, and don't just say, yes, girl, love this, so true, emoji, emoji, emoji. Like, no, that's not an interaction. That does not count. That actually counts as a negative interaction in my book. So if you're going to do that, you need to now do 2 more. Like, that's just how it is. If you're doing that, it doesn't count. Don't make it that easy on yourself. I like to consider it as if I'm talking to one of my best friends and I say 4 or more words, and a word is not an emoji. 4 or more words to equal a sentence, if not more. If you went to school where I did, then 6 words equal the sentence, but we'll make it easy and we'll do at least 4, right? Because you need at least 4 for the algorithm to consider it a sentence. So to me, I'm really, really big on sentences for stories and sentences for posts. If I don't have anything to say, I don't pull something out of my butt. I just skip it. I go to the next one because chances are tomorrow I'll find something that I relate to them. I don't force those relationships. I don't force those connections. When they're forced, people can tell and they're no longer real. They're no longer raw. They're no longer genuine or authentic. And that's not what you want to build on. You don't want to be so excited because somebody's favorite food is like a big juicy steak and you're a vegetarian. Like, You know what I mean? What if that's their story and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks delicious. How good is it? Like, where is that from? And you're a vegetarian. And then they join your team and then you're all of a sudden talking about how you're a vegetarian. And they're like, wait a second, like you asked me where my big juicy steak was from. You know what I mean? Like, don't force it, because chances are if they do join your team or they do become a customer and then all of a sudden they're watching you and all of a sudden you're a vegetarian, they're going to be like, I'm lost. So was I just a number? Like, we don't relate at all. We don't have that relationship. We don't have that connection. And as a leader, which every single person, once you join this team, you're a leader and you're downline, whether you have one or not, but as you start to grow one, you need to be relatable still. You need to have those connections. They need to know that they can trust you. And that trust starts from the very first conversation. Let me see. So do you scroll past memes or repeat posters? Yeah. If I don't have anything to say to memes, like I don't genuinely like have anything to say, I don't make something up. That's just not my thing. And then, what do you mean by repeated posters? I don't know what you mean by that, but memes. Yeah. Unless I actually have something to say to it, like unless it's like a really good one, because I love myself a good meme. I won't lie. Like I love them. Me and my fiance send them to each other on Instagram like all day long, and we're sitting right next to each other. Like I love a good one. Like it's fine. I'm just weird like that, and that's just me. So that's probably not the best example from me. But people who posted back to back, if I don't relate to the back to back post, then I'm not going to sit there and act like I do. If that makes sense. I will only comment. I will only interact, I guess I should say, if I'm adding value. If there isn't value to the conversation, I'm not doing it. I don't pretend that value is somewhere where it isn't. That's my biggest thing. So if you have found yourself that you are having a really hard time building your network, it starts with your interactions. Really take a look at your interactions. If your network is not growing, if your network is kind of at a plateau, and you're noticing that people aren't in your inbox messaging you and connecting, it starts with your interactions and how you're interacting with them, one, and two, it starts with your stories. So really, really take a look at what your stories look like, and really, really take a look at your interactions is where I want you guys to start with that. Because I've had a couple questions about growing my network and how I got, because when I started with this company almost December 10th will be 2 years. I had just under 300 people on my Instagram, and I think I'm over like 13,000 now. I don't know. I don't really look at that, because to me, I built with just 300. It's monopoly to me. If you've heard me say it's monopoly money, that's because that's what it is. Is it important if they're genuine and they're like authentic and they add value? 100%. But if it's just a like is not going to pay my bills. So that's another thing. People have been asking with this new Instagram update if I'm going to be freaking out because people won't be able to see likes. I don't care. Because I don't delete posts that don't get like X amount of likes. It could have no likes. If I like it, it's staying. Once you switch your mindset to that, you don't overthink what you're posting either. You have to get into the mindset of that likes are monopoly money. If you're growing interactions and I would much rather have people in my inbox than ever like one of my pictures. I cannot tell you the last time I went to go look at one of my pictures to see how many likes it had. I just don't care. If I posted it, it's because I like it. If I posted it, it's because it's me. If I posted it, it's because it needs to be up there because it's on my page. So once you switch that, when Instagram and Facebook do these changes to you, it doesn't matter, because guess what? People are in your inbox where it actually matters. People are actually talking to you instead of just liking it. So really, really starts with your interactions and switching it up and making it much more valuable to people. My next thing that I do with my growing of my network is I make sure that I'm unfollowing people that aren't following me. I know it's really hard right now because the third-party apps are blocked, but I'm doing it probably twice a month. I pick a day that I don't have too much going on, and I pull up on my unfollow app the people that aren't following me back, and then I go to which is a pain in the butt, but I do it manually, and I go to my Instagram on my computer or on my phone or on my iPad, and I go to my people I'm following, and I type in their name and hit unfollow, type in their name and hit unfollow, and do it all the way down. I do probably about 100 so I don't get blocked, or really until I lucky if I make it to 100 before my like squirrel brain goes off the charts. But I try and do it 2 days out of the month to clean up my following versus unfollowing. But is there a way to do a preset or edit colors on videos? Not that I know of. Britt, do you know of an app for that? Yeah, Britt's going to type it in the comments. The question was if we know for a preset or editing colors on videos. Brittany's going to type it in the comments, and then since comments aren't recorded, I will say what she says. Sorry. Yes. So unfollowing people is huge. I know this sounds weird, but your ratio, if you are following more people than are following you, take a look at who's not following you and get rid of them. I know it might sound weird because you're like, I really like their profile. And if you genuinely like their profile and you just want to continue following them, great. But if you're just following people just to follow them and you're not interacting, they're not interacting with you first off. If they're just straight up ignoring you and not interacting back with you, bye. That's how I honestly, people have asked me how I don't have a max friends on Facebook. And it is because if somebody doesn't answer me back or say something back to me when I wish them a happy birthday, I unfriend them. I don't know if that's like smart or not, and they might come around, but honestly, if they're not even going to tell me thank you for wishing them a happy birthday, like, girl, bye. I don't have time for that. Brittany said that the preset or edit colors for videos is called Story Arts. There is a filter you can use with their app. Also, I record with Instagram filters and save it and use it in Unfold or with whatever I was adding. So if that helps anybody. Okay, just a couple more things, and then Brittany's going to take it from here and kind of end it. Doing your IPAs daily is going to grow your interactions. And then my next thing was hashtags. I don't use hashtags in my post, mainly because I don't remember to, and second, because like I'm not really good at coming up with different creative ones. Like my creative ones would be boy mom, and there's like 4 million posts underneath there. So I don't do that. But what I do in my stories is I hide hashtags and I tag the places where I got. If it's of Rylan and he's wearing something, I tag where I got it from. I tag like the Dr. Tot he's laying in. I tag his Ryan and Rose binky if that's what he has in his mouth. Like I do stuff like that, and then I hashtag stuff and I make it teeny tiny, and I hide it somewhere in the story so people don't really notice the hashtags, but it will show up in that hashtag story. So if you go to hashtags, every single hashtag has a story, and people watch those throughout the day. So if they click on that hashtag story, yours will pop up in there also. So that's what I have for really a crash course on Instagram. All of those things that I just talked about, you can also do on Facebook, and you should be doing on Facebook. If you are not doing it in both platforms and you're not, I normally start on Instagram with my stories, save it, put it on Facebook. I normally make my post on Instagram. And then my picture saves with like the lighting and stuff, and then I post it on Facebook with the same caption. You get what I'm saying? Like I do in sync and I do them together, because if you're not using both platforms, you're really going to start hindering your business, because some weeks I have the most interactions on Facebook and other weeks I have the most interaction on Instagram. But if I wasn't working Facebook and I was only working Instagram, the weeks that Instagram is not really doing the most for me, I would miss out on these people over here on Facebook. So it's really important to do both. Okay, Britt, do you have anything you want to add?
I just wanted to kind of go over one last thing that you had brought up actually in your IP in your work with me this morning, just because it's been super helpful and something I've been implementing. But the little arrows underneath the followers that you have too for interaction. I've been going and doing that because you can organize it by earliest to oldest, and then I can go through and filter. And that's something I didn't know that was there. So if you go underneath following underneath your Instagram profile, there's an up arrow and a down arrow, and you can organize it and go through and scroll and unfollow. Also, I know I've seen a lot of people not using hashtags. This is huge. Hashtags are very, very, very important. It helps and I always hashtag things based off of, my pictures or like what it's about, for example. So then it stays in that niche, whatever niche. I can't talk. The niche. And then making sure when you're engaging with your brand. If people aren't aligning with that brand, kind of like Lindsay had already gone over, make sure that you're going through and seeing if it's a common thing. If it's a common, they don't really align with your brand, that's when I would unfollow. Like if they're not there's no point of you forcing that friendship, like Lindsay's saying. And then the last thing is geotagging your photos. This is huge for me, especially. I've had a lot of other, like locally in Arizona, there's a lot of like influencers out here in whatever in Arizona, and so there's a lot of places that I'll tag when I'm doing pictures, or if I'm out and about. For example, I tag the location. I'm at home a lot of times though, so if I'm at home, I'm still doing it by the city and the state that I'm in, and the reason why is it's going to show to that demographic in your area as well. So geotagging is super, super important. Consistency in your stories are super important, and your feeds, making sure. Obviously, when it comes to the other thing with stories that help boost your engagement for people to interact on your stories, and this is another thing, not just doing polls. Polls are amazing, and this is something I had to kind of check myself on today. I've been doing a lot of polls, not a lot of engagement stuff. So, and I'll call myself out on this. So for me, since wedding is also part of my like my brand right now, I'm doing different things and showing my audience like different things that are behind the scenes of my wedding planning. And I'll do like votes, like, you know, which one do you like, or what did your your best wedding tips, like, and asking questions to get people involved, because people like to feel like you're a human. So running contests on your stories are really good. I know for me, I think it was Katie that did this recently. She was doing like, hey, and this is something I'm actually doing this week. I have a $20 gift card loaded onto my phone from Starbucks. And I'm not a Starbucks drinker, but what I'm doing is I'm just giving someone, I'll screenshot the barcode, and the first few people that see it, they can use like $5 here, $5 here to get a Starbucks. Things like that, and you don't have to do it like that. I know some people like, but for me, I want to cause that engagement for Team Human on that, because it helps people see that you're relatable. It helps people see that you're human and that you have like, or it could be a Target gift card. I don't care. But even like with like just thinking outside the box sometimes when it comes to your stories. It doesn't have to always look like everyone else's, but it does have to look like you. It does have to show up in your stories. And I can tell right off the bat when people aren't being consistent from just their feed or their stories. And it shows where their mindset's at. So that's all I have on that, because I'm huge on mindset. I just want to keep this strictly social media and not go into that part. So that's it on me, because I will go off.
No, for real though. Does anybody have any questions on Instagram, on Facebook? I know that we have a ton of trainings on these topics. I just really wanted to do just a simple crash course because I made that post the other day and I had a lot of questions that I was really surprised about, just solely because of how many trainings we have. So again, use the search bar in the Hustling's team page and type in Instagram, type in network, type in growing, type in posting, type in these random keywords and see what pops up. I guarantee you're going to find a ton of different options to kind of be a learn it all and soak it all in. But one more thing that I remember that when Britt was talking, I do call to action posts in my Instagram stories. So instead of it just being thrive, I will put in there stuff that has to do with my brand, like the baby, wedding, my fiance, my dogs, and I'll do like questions. Like I already know who my hair for my wedding is going to be. It's the same girl who does my lashes. She's going to do my hair and everything, right? But I still wanted to see some other people and how they do it. So I put a question up on my feed, and if you follow me, then you see it. And I said, who are the best Tampa Bay wedding hair girls? And I put the question thing, and people started putting Instagrams. People started saying me. People started doing that. And I was able to go and I was able to look and see the kind of, because I had no idea what I wanted my hair to look like. So I went and I started looking. But guess what? Now those people, they interacted with my story. So now I'm popping up on their newsfeed and in their story grid at the top even more. So stuff like that has nothing to do with Thrive, but has to do with your 5 things is huge. Add it in. Don't be afraid to do call to actions and post about them. It's really going to help you, and it's really going to make it so your social media is working for you behind the scenes. I do a lot of those at night. So basically my social media is working for me while I sleep. if that makes sense, because there's a lot more people who are night owls, and now that I have a baby, I'm just like all about sleeping at 8:30 at night. And so I will do like 9 o'clock at night. I'll put up one of those like call to action posts, whether it be a poll, whether it be a story, whether it be a quiz, something that causes people to click, type, view whatever, but just interact with my story. Is what I do, and I do it throughout the night. So people in different time zones, people who are night owls, people that I wouldn't get during the day that are like my stay-at-home mom like group that I have, they're also interacting, they're also seeing me. So it opens you up to new people, it opens you up to a wider range of people to view your stuff. So I think you guys have heard my voice enough for today. So let me hit stop